Teachers, what's the best smartass response from a student you've heard? I teach 10th grade English at a public school in Ohio. 3 weeks into the fall semester, one of my brightest students, Devin, stopped showing up to class. He'd been getting straight A's, always participated, the kind of kid who actually did the reading. When he came back 2 weeks later, the school counselor, Ms. Nguyen, pulled me aside in the hallway. Devin's father passed away suddenly, heart attack. He's having a really rough time. Just wanted to give you a heads up. I waited until after class that day and pulled Devin aside. Hey, I heard about your dad. I'm really sorry. Listen, don't worry about any of the work you missed. We already took the state exam, so as far as I'm concerned, you're done with the requirements. Just focus on getting through your other classes and taking care of yourself. He nodded, didn't say much. I could see he was barely holding it together. For the next 2 months, Devin showed up to my class every day. He did every assignment I gave, even though I'd told him he didn't have to. Solid B+ work. Not his usual A's, but considering everything, I was just glad he was functioning. Then in early December, I got an email from Ms. Nguyen asking me to attend a meeting about Devin. I checked my gradebook. He was doing fine in my class, so I had no idea what this was about. I walked into the counselor's office and saw 4 other teachers sitting there. Mrs. Harrington from history, Mr. Lopez from math, Mrs. Lin from science, and Coach Davidson, who taught health. Ms. Nguyen started the meeting. Devin is failing 4 out of 6 classes. He's in danger of repeating the entire year. The only classes he's passing are English and PE. I wanted to bring everyone together to figure out a plan. Mrs. Harrington jumped in immediately. He's missed over 20 assignments in my class. I told him he could make up 10 of them, but he hasn't turned in a single one. At a certain point, we have to hold students accountable. Mr. Lopez nodded. Same situation in math. He won't stay after school for tutoring, won't ask for help, just sits there. I looked at Ms. Nguyen. What exactly did you want my input on? He's doing fine in my class. Mrs. Harrington turned to me, clearly annoyed. That's exactly the problem. You're enabling him. I don't see why we even needed you here. You just let the kids skip out on work. That's not helpful. That's not teaching. The room got quiet. I leaned forward. His dad died 8 weeks ago. You really think 20 history worksheets about the French Revolution matter to him right now? Structure matters, Mrs. Harrington said. These kids need to learn that life doesn't stop just because something bad happens. That's a valuable lesson. He's 16, I said. He just lost his father. The valuable lesson he's learning right now is that half his teachers care more about their gradebooks than his dead parent. Coach Davidson shifted uncomfortably. Mr. Lopez stared at his hands. Mrs. Harrington's face went red. That's completely unfair. I offered him extensions. The door opened. Devin walked in. He wasn't supposed to be there, but Miss Nguyen had clearly texted him to come down without telling the rest of us. Mrs. White Harrington didn't notice him standing by the door. She kept going. These kids need to understand that grief doesn't excuse laziness. My mother died when I was in college and I still graduated on time. Devin stood there for a second. Then he spoke, his voice completely calm. You're absolutely right, Mrs. Harrington. My dad dying was super lazy of me. I should have asked him to schedule his heart attack for summer break. That way it wouldn't inconvenience your lesson plans. Every head in the room turned toward him. Mrs. Harrington's face went from red to white in about 2 seconds. Devin looked at each teacher, one by one. Mr. Lopez, I'm sorry I didn't stay after school for tutoring. I was too busy planning my dad's funeral and helping my mom figure out how to pay the mortgage. Mrs. Lin, I'm sorry I zoned out during your lab on cell division. I was thinking about how my dad's cells stopped dividing permanently. He turned to me. Mr. Lane, thanks for being the only teacher who treated me like my grief mattered more than a history worksheet. At least one person here remembers I'm a human being. Then he walked out, didn't slam the door, just left. The room was completely silent. Ms. Nguyen closed her laptop. I think we're done here. Mrs. Harrington tried to say something, but Ms. Nguyen cut her off. Actually, I need everyone except Mr. Lane to leave. Now, after they filed out, Ms. Nguyen looked at me. I recorded that whole thing. I'm sending it to the principal. Harrington's getting transferred. Devin passed all his classes that year. The other teachers suddenly found ways to be more flexible with deadlines. Mrs. Harrington got moved to a different school that summer. Last I heard, she's teaching somewhere in Kentucky now. Devin graduated 2 years later. Gave a speech at graduation about his dad. Didn't mention Mrs. Harrington once. That's class.